Welcome back to The Place We Run, our special Trail Chaser series proudly sponsored by RMB. Our exploration of responsibility doesn't end on Table Mountain. The RMB UTCT Trail Fund supports critical work in wild places far beyond the city. In this bonus episode, we head to the Cederberg, a place of ancient beauty and urgent challenges. I sit down with Dawie Burger, founder of Sustainable Ceder, to find out what it truly means to earn our time on the trails.
Dawie, welcome to the Trail Chasers. So let's start at the beginning. Who are you? What do you do? Where do you live? Yeah, tell me more.
Yeah, so basically I've been living out here in the southern Cederberg for the last 17 years with my wife, just doing tourism stuff, campsite and houses, and started to work with Quentin from the Leopard Trust with a lot of conservationists and just grew that into even more conservation work and awareness stuff.
So when did Sustainable Ceder start, and what kind of was the background and the mission to kind of starting it?
It started 2 years back, 2023, about October. We said, okay, let's do this full time while we're running a tourism farm. I think it started because we were so entwined with all the conservation entities, like doing the real hands-on work on the field and really observing stuff. And over time, we really realized, especially over COVID time, we realized we all say, oh, someone's going to come into the Cederberg and come do conservation work on the cedars. Someone's going to do it full time, and our clock is also ticking. And what really bothered me is like the cedar trees, Clanwilliam Ceder trees, is right on top of almost like the key chain of conservation up here in the Cederberg. It's what the Cederberg is known for. And that bothered me that there's no one doing it full time. And I just said, listen, let's drive it because we heart and soul in the Cederberg, but let's drive it. And I contacted Helen from the Leopard Trust, and she said to me, Dawie, we'll support you. Start an NPO, non-profit organization, and drive it. We do have the passion for the Cederberg from environmental and community sides, and that's where we are.
In terms of, Sustainable Cederberg, what are you kind of, I guess, day to day? What are your duties? As you kind of mentioned, your main goal, I guess, is the conservation around the sort of cedar trees, but what does that kind of mean in a practical purpose, in practical sense?
Yeah, so on the one side, we run a tourism farm. We run about 25 campsites and a few houses, and then vineyards and truffle field. But we also drive the conservation passion side, creating awareness these days about the Cederberg, especially because it got so busy after COVID. And we just realized we need to spread more awareness about conservation. We do know the shortfall of conservation in the Cederberg, the management side of it. We do support Cape Nature, and they support us a lot because we do this full time. And I think it's quite a nice balance between a private, let's say a private passion entity with a government entity to work both together on these challenges, on these daily challenges. I mean, just from COVID, just from flooding, fires, just coordinating all these different projects and also initiatives. And that's where growing also with the trail running community, even on that side, it started to really grow. And even the initiatives that's coming from that is really helping the Cederberg as well.
Moving on to trail running and the Cederberg getting a lot more busier. Obviously, you've seen like a massive influx into the Cederberg. So in terms of sustainability, how are you kind of tackling that?
Luckily, southern Cederberg is limited, especially with accommodation. So there's only so many people that can really come up here, visit it. And most people visit this area from, I would say, September, October, when it slightly warms up. Winter times can be quite harsh up here. We can have a minimum of about 9 degrees. That's not ideal for camping at all. It's also a lot of, this time normally busy because we do have a lot of school groups. We also do have a lot of trail running events going on in the Cederberg. So yeah, it does have challenges, but it's all about linking with the trail run entities and see what part of the Cederberg they can use so that not all the entities is focused on just, let's say, on more the commercial routes, almost like the Wolfberg Arch or the Cracks, the Maltese Cross now. So it's quite nice to diverse that. And I think it's all about communication and getting everyone on the same page roughly. that helps a lot so that we can disperse these events and also talk about our challenges that we face in the Cederberg from a management side.
I guess the golden question here is, what does a race on Table Mountain have to do with the Cederberg? So talk me through the link with UTCT and the Trail Fund. How did that come about and how does that partnership work?
I think in life, what I picked up with conservation and in life in general, Western Cape is small. It's like you walk just half an hour and you walk into someone you know. And a lot of people visit the Cederberg, and we've been linking with so many individuals, creating awareness, I think easily for the last 12, 15 years, we've been creating awareness of conservation and things. And I think there's just people that you meet and they run these great initiatives and trail running groups and stuff. And, that's also a great way to push back into the Cederberg. Events in Cape Town can be large numbers, but up here it's more a bit almost like exclusive and it's quite wild as well. And we have a lot to offer from rock formations, our diversity. You can have some of the routes, you can have all for yourself. If you know where to run in the Cederberg, you can have it all for yourself. But we do keep ourselves up to date what's happening in the trail run communities in Cape Town and their challenges over there. But I think, linking back to people, that's really supporting us, it's just helped to support these projects. I mean, it would not be possible from RMB or Tuesday Trails. I mean, the funds we receive helping to do environmental projects, but also community upliftment projects, and spreading awareness in the same. So it's like a triangle from all these different things that's really important for the bigger picture. Just environmental stuff or just community stuff or just doing tourism. I think if you do a bit of everything in the bigger run and in the long run, that's more sustainable because you're growing your network and that really can push back into the Cederberg as well.
Obviously, the money element, the funds element of it is massive, But how big is the kind of awareness, that people come to UTCT and they see that you're one of the initiatives that are involved and getting that kind of feedback and that kind of spotlight shone on you? How big is that for you guys?
I think it's much bigger than we can actually pick up from our side. We recently did a campaign where we were on a shortlist for European funding, and we could see that our message was going across the world through so many different countries. And that's special. And it shows you that it's your network that's growing. And it's not something that you build up yesterday. It's something we've been building for years. When you start an NPO, you need to then start building your network. But in this case, first build your network, then starting your NPO, because then you've done almost kind of your homework. You know where to take those projects and initiatives, and who you can ask a favor for, because they know you here for the long run. And that's what's nice all about trail run entities, especially the guys that are here for the long run, having this open space, but pushing back into this open space because we want to protect it. And yes, so there's so much work that needs to be done, but it's not that it's not possible. I mean, it's from alien clearing and footpath maintenance, almost the same stuff you have in Cape Town. We at least don't have the security issue.
Yeah. And I mean, that actually leads nicely into my next question is, how closely do you work with the likes of Friends of Table Mountain and, the guys over here, to kind of share knowledge, share resources and the like?
Yeah, so I follow Andy Davis, the Friends of Table Mountain. They're doing amazing work there on Table Mountain. And I do see that same thing happening in the Cederberg as well, where we work with Cape Nature, working on footpaths, working on some of the mountain huts, and also linking the community. There's beautiful community villages that trail run entities can use, and you build it into your trail, and the community benefits out of that. So much more actually comes, They start socialing with people, and I think they also broaden their knowledge and their self-esteem, and that's really beautiful. I think 10, 15 years back, when you were speaking to a local guy, let's say in the Wuppertal area or smaller communities, and you were speaking English, they would run away. Nowadays, you can actually have conversation with people of the local community. So I think we're really in a good part currently, or good time frame to initiate these good causes.
Expanding on the RMB involvement in UTCT involvement beyond those kind of, as we said, the funds? What does it mean that someone like a UTCT or someone like an RMB not only kind of says, here's the money, but also says, we see you, we see the work that you do, and we want to get involved? What does that mean for you guys?
It takes a mountain off our shoulders because, we're the doers, we're the farmers in the veld. We actually get the job done. We coordinate it, logistics, we prep a lot. So we use, is that typical? You go sleep, but something you need to figure out for yourself. And that helps when you have the financial support, then your dreams or your initiatives and ideas, or let's say even in the trail run community, someone comes up with an initiative and say, Dawie, I can help over here. And at least you have the funding, that can deliver. So that takes a lot of pressure off us. If I need to go and do proposals the whole time, you don't get to the doing work. So you can almost leave financial side for someone else, and we can just focus on the doing work and the recipe of planting cedars and getting community involved. I mean, that's ideal. That's exactly where we want to be.
If someone comes across you for the first time at a race like UTCT, what is the kind of key message that you would like them to take away from it? Or what is the vision or the idea that you want them to leave with?
Yes, use the mountains and the trails, but come with two visions. Come with the Cederberg and come enjoy the Cederberg for what it is, but come with another vision and say, what can I do good for these environments? It's not always financial. It's like, I'm a website builder. I can build a website for a local community campsite. It's what are you good at that can contribute to the bigger picture of the Cederberg? That's going to make the Cederberg sustainable. There's one thing that I always started to pick up every time, someone would say, or a farmer or anyone that would say, no, but why are you doing that? That's Cape Nature's work. It's almost like that typical someone throwing litter out the car and saying, okay, that's job creation. And it's the same concept. If we're all just going to sit and wait and hopefully something happens, we might miss the bus. And at the end, we're sitting with a Cederberg full of invasive trees or mismanagement. We had massive erosion with the last 2 years of flooding. This year we have a very dry year. So we constantly have these challenges, but I think the stronger, bigger the network, the more sustainable the Cederberg can operate.
If someone does want to get involved, as you said, aside from the financial contributions, what are the kind of ways to get involved with you guys?
We recently started a Cederberg volunteer group. You can send us an email, or I've got my number available. I'm on social media as well. You can just contact us. We've got a Cederberg volunteer group where you can either get involved in all kinds of different things, like, let's say it's either trail cleaning for a trail, or it's even a community project. That's the way to get involved, and even to coordinate a volunteer group. I mean, that's a job on its own. You need a person to coordinate a volunteer group, because we don't want to miss our focus on cedars and community stuff.
Yeah. And, what does the future look like for the Cederberg, for, Sustainable Ceder? What do you want it to kind of look like?
I think a beautiful picture for Sustainable Ceder is, yes, we're doing restoration work on the Clanwilliam Ceder. We currently only have about 15,000 cedars left in the Cederberg, mostly old cedars. So every year we're pushing to plant at least 10,000 saplings into these rocky areas where the fires don't really get to. So it's typical where the baboons back in the day, where the baboons actually took the seeds and put it onto these rocky outcrops, and really good moisture levels. So where they really would start the regeneration sites. And then also the community from young to old to get involved. We can spread a lot of awareness in schools and also amongst the communities, how to look after the environment, how to do the roads towards them, how to clean up their villages, to make it more tourism friendly, a few signs here and there, campsites, initiatives to drive community into cooking their roasted bread, but also doing harvesting of honey. So it's making those links, because we are so into tourism over here. We know exactly what works and what doesn't work. But if we push that onto the community around us, then we know how to initiate it and make it sustainable, and they can just run with it. And the beautiful stories are there, and even with the photos, it's magical places. So it's really nice for international person to run or to drive there and visit these communities. And there you can actually go and plant seed with the community.
Incredible. Well, you guys are doing the most incredible work. So thank you very much. Hopefully I can come visit you guys soon.
Yeah, definitely. It will be great to have you out here, Dean. And then I can showcase you a lot of stuff.
Thank you so much for the chat.
And also thank you for RMB and Tuesday Trails and everyone in the trail run community. It's really helping a lot. And it's just beautiful building this network.
Amazing. Thank you.
All right, Dean.
Cheers.
All right.